Hello Internet, and welcome to another Metroidvania map announcement video. This one is for Exorcist Fairy, a Chinese indie, as far as I'm aware, Metroidvania that is out now on Steam. As far as I'm aware, the game is feature complete and out of early access. And I say this because I don't think the game should be out of early access, and I really don't think it is particularly complete for a variety of reasons, especially including the fact that the ending, for example, isn't even translated into English, as are a few of the bits and pieces. The translation actually is quite poor indeed. So I played about, well, let's say I got up to about, I think it was 69% map uncovered, because the percentage at the top of the map screen is just for map squares uncovered. It's not for actual game completion. But I got up to 69% before I really started to lose my faith with what the game developers were going for here. Part of that is because I did things in the wrong order. It's not sequence breaking realistically in the game. There's nothing, that exciting in here. The game is very much kind of blasphemous with a kind of Hollow Knight style art style, but I did do bosses in the wrong order. For example, I killed this guy down here, who I've called Fist's boss, because none of the things are named in the game, and all of the achievements are still in Chinese at the time of recording this, which is Halloween 2021. So I beat this guy, and then immediately ran into a room where I needed the swimming ability, which you don't have yet. So I had to look around for, well, what else have I missed? Turns out I'd missed the grub boss up here, which if you get, then you can get through, and you can get down to the wall climb ability, which lets you get down through here, here, and into the lava thing, and then you can defeat this boss here and get the water power. The thing is, the Fist boss was way easier than this particular boss. This boss does an absolute metric ton of damage and has a load of HP. I had an extra sword upgrade for when I faced off against her versus when I beat the Fist boss, and she was still an absolute pain in the ass. And that accounts for basically the last 2 or 3 bosses. This one here especially, and the final boss is just terrible, frankly, and shouldn't have ever been released in the way that it actually is. Also, other things that shouldn't have been released as they are. The wall climb ability is tragically bad. It's the same one as Blasphemous, where you have to kind of stab the wall. And there's nothing wrong with that in principle, although Blasphemous, they really had to do a lot of work after launch to tweak it. This one isn't even as good as Blasphemous was at 1.0 launch. It's awful. And that means that this room up here, and especially this room here, which just made me rage through how badly designed it is. I'll talk about that in a second. They're kind of wall climbing platformy sections, and they are so frustrating. Not because the rooms themselves are particularly badly designed, although I'd argue that this one could do with, there's some spikes there which they could do away with, and an extra platform here to catch you if you fall, so that you don't fall all the way to the bottom of the room if you actually miss your super imprecise wall jump. I feel like some work could be done on the wall jump to make those rooms more entertaining. This section up here, in fact, let's zoom in and show you the map. It's not a super big one because it's not a super big game, but I'm going to talk through a couple of rooms. This one here, there is actually a gap down here. Try not to drop down there, because you can do. There's some moving platforms that go left and right here. Try not to drop down there. Go across here first if you can and unlock this shortcut. If you unlock that shortcut, you'll find that you can't get through that way, but then you can go up, back and round and drop down and unlock the shortcut that way. It's a very peculiar way of doing it. But if you don't unlock this one and you do drop down there, yes, you can unlock the shortcut back down to the save point, but you can't get to the boss. So you've got to go through the whole section again. It's very badly designed. I really hope the developers can do something about that, because quite frankly, as I've put here, this room sucks. This room also sucks. There's also a power-up there, a bead, just like the bead system in Blasphemous once again. That was the last one that I got. It took me an hour and a half of scouring the last couple of areas of this zone. I didn't really want to go through it, but of course there's that one there. It's an attack up one. It's the only attack up bead, and I won't say it's super powerful, but it makes a difference with how unbalanced some of the things in this game are. The other area that I think is tragically bad, this room here has a load of enemies which are called Medusa heads. They're not Medusa heads. Medusa heads are fairer than these enemies are. These enemies are incredibly fast. You can kill them, I discovered quite late, but there's so many of them just going across the room in straight lines with very little space in between them that you may as well not bother. Just use the bead that gives you the ability to ignore knockbacks to get through that. This room here is probably, as I said, the most aggravating and badly designed room in the game. The room itself is a pain in the ass, and then as you can see from the background here, there were these giant skull enemies as well as Medusa heads, as well as wall climbing, as well as spiked areas. The giant skull takes up over a third of your screen, and when you are trying to navigate around the Medusa heads with the horrendously imprecise wall jumping mechanics and the spikes and the fact that everything in this particular zone for some reason now does contact damage, despite the fact that no other enemies anywhere else in the game do contact damage, it's like, what the hell were the developers thinking for this? Now, up until this point, a lot of the rooms have started having 2 levers to open the door. This room also has 2 levers, but I've no idea what this one does, because that door there opens with just that lever. So I haven't got a clue. The shadow boss is shit. It's terribly designed. It's incredibly unfair, and just like a lot of the bosses in this game, the bigger bosses, it's got 2 phases, and the second phase is even worse. I got incredibly pissed off with it, and I got incredibly pissed off with this room as well, to the extent that I actually used Cheat Engine to get through it, because I was just so sick of the game by then. And the last probably 20% of the game follows suit with that. It needs rebalancing, it needs cleaning up, it needs a lot of work on the precision of the wall jump. So, my mini review and map announcement. If you know where everything is, it's not too difficult to 100%. Some of these walls are breakable, some of them just represent gates. If I'd thought about it, I'd go back and actually just differentiate. The ones with levers next to them tend to be gates. All 21 of the I'm going to call them rosary beads, because that's essentially what they are marked on here. A lot of them have got the same names. This one and the one up here don't even have actual descriptions of what they do in English. This one is basically, it's called a windfall power. It increases the amount of cash that you earn, and this one increases the power of the thunder spell that you eventually get. Yeah, there's mistranslations and poor translations all the way through this game. But the first 3/5 to 3/4 of the game is actually really good. It's fun. It's just this area here, and the final bosses. I mean, this boss was great. That boss was good, though I fought him late. This one was great fun as well. A lot of the boss designs are actually really, really good. He's a good boss. He probably needs some more mechanics. This was an excellent boss. Really enjoyed fighting that. That one was awful. This one was awful. He's a tutorial boss. He was easy. Same with that guy. It needs rebalancing. It needs fixing. It's all right, and it's not expensive, and I have got probably about 9 or 10 hours out of it, but a good hour and a half of that was just searching for that and that, which were my last two, which were quite well hidden. But yeah. Incidentally, these rooms here look a mess. This is where you get the cat power, which allows you to change into a cat. So these are pairs of cat holes, essentially, that you can go back and forth through. This room, without a kind of a key like this, it feels really padded. But yeah, I mean, it's not a terrible game. It's a 5.5, 6 out of 10 for me in its current state. It would have been an 8 if it had kept up the kind of fun and enjoyment factor of the initial 3/5 to 3/4 of the map, of the game rather, but it didn't. So, you know, hopefully this map proves interesting for you and useful. Hopefully this review of the game proves useful as well. It really does feel like an early access title, but it's not an expensive one. So your mileage, as always, is going to vary. Thank you very much for watching and listening to me get some things about this game off my chest. I had fun putting the map together. I can't say it was particularly difficult to put the map together because it's not a very big game, but the later quarter, the later 20-25% kind of did outstay its welcome. So try it out for yourself. See what you think. Until next time, folks, stay safe out there. Thank you for watching. Cheerio. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, why not click the like button and consider subscribing. Remember, you can ring the bell notification icon to get notified when new videos go live. And until next time, cheerio.